Hello, everyone. Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host for today, Tabetha Moreto. Our guest today is Dr. Matthew Miles, CEO of MS Research Australia. Today, we're going to talk about Kiss Goodbye to MS, an internationally recognized initiative to raise vital funds for MS, which runs for the month of May. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Matthew. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be able to speak to you today.
My pleasure. So, Matthew, please tell the audience more about yourself, please.
Sure. My name's Matthew Miles. I'm the CEO of MS Research Australia. I've had a fairly long amount of experience in the medical field. I've come from the University of New South Wales in medicine there, where I was Director of Development and External Relations. I've also done a fair bit of postgraduate study. I have a postgraduate master's as well as a Bachelor of Veterinary Science. So I used to be a veterinary clinician and worked in Australia, the UK, Singapore, and America. So a fairly varied, professional experience, but also been touched by medical research and medical diseases. And my father was quite heavily disabled when he had cardiovascular disease, which struck him down very early in life. And I guess from that I've always had a great interest in health and medical research in general.
Wow, it sounds like you had a very fascinating career.
Yeah, I think it's been quite varied. People often ask, how did I make the transition from veterinary science into, more medical research, medicine-based issue? It was really quite easy. And I think, really understanding the basic concepts of medicine certainly helps. And then my work at the university really helped me to understand the health sector, the health professional sector, medical research, and the funding of medical research. So it was quite an easy transition from clinician to what I am now.
Wonderful. Now, tell us about this interesting program that you have called Kiss Goodbye to MS.
Sure. Yeah, we founded Kiss Goodbye to MS a couple of years ago here in Australia, and it's fairly innovative social media-based fundraising platform where people can fundraise for MS research, and we call it DIY fundraising. So it means that you can do whatever you like to raise money and get your friends and get others on board. Raising money for multiple sclerosis research, and it's a dedicated platform to raise money for MS research. Given that it's social media based, it's a very, very low cost platform. So when you do raise money, the majority of the money raised goes directly to the source, directly to the mission, and that is to find cures and better treatments, prevention for multiple sclerosis. So it's quite innovative. It's low cost, high impact platform. In fact, the whole Australian Kiss Goodbye to MS platform is overseen by just one staff member. Then a couple of years ago, we were approached by our global colleagues to roll the campaign out in other countries, and there's been outstanding success in Kiss Goodbye to MS Global, now in 15 countries throughout the world, and we're just really thrilled to have an Aussie-founded campaign doing so well overseas, raising money in countries from US to Lebanon to Egypt to France, and just great to see the world come together as one with the same sort of values and the same needs to try and raise money for MS research, and being able to capture the hearts and minds, particularly of younger people with MS in that sort of 20 to 45 year age range. And there's been a demographic which many organisations haven't been able to get involved with them when they've been trying to look to ways to cure multiple sclerosis.
Fantastic. It's good to know that a program like this is able to educate people about MS.
It's really important that the person who is diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, now and in the future, has access to good, accurate, educative information. It's a very, very complex disease. There's a lot of complexity. And as you could probably be aware, there's a lot of different information blogs and, Dr. Google is quite significant when it comes to MS. There's lots of different theories. Many of those theories are based on very little science. So people look to MS Research Australia and Kiss Goodbye to MS in particular to be able to provide, evidence-based information on, what is real in terms of MS research, what is known, what is proven, what is not yet proven, what is unproven, and to be able to sort of give them a bit of a guide so they can see the wood for the trees, which is critical. And that's very, very important for a young person diagnosed with MS, and keeping in mind that that's often a younger female person, and they need to have access to that information. MS takes away your control in many ways. Being educated and access to correct and accurate information does help to bring back some of that control.
That's wonderful to hear. Now, if you don't mind, Matthew, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Why are you so passionate about helping those with this particular condition?
Yeah, I think there's two reasons. One is I just truly believe in the power of medical research. I truly believe that medical research can change the world, and I think there's numerous examples which I could go on for hours about, giving you examples of where that's happened, and I'm sure many of your listeners would know many of those already, but you just don't see that very often in many other professions where you can categorically say you've played a part, even a small part, in something which has changed the world for people who need the help the most. The second reason is the one I touched on, I think, is that, I think when you've been touched with, someone who's been sick in your own family, or someone who's struggled with disability, or, in my case with my father, with cardiovascular disease, then I think it just hits home a little bit, and you just understand the difficulties, the challenges that person goes through every day, whether it's just sort of getting down on the floor to play with their son, or whether it's having a shower, or whether it's trying to get down the pavement from where the bus dropped you off after rehabilitation. All these sort of things people don't naturally see unless it's been part of your family, part of your growing up. So I think they're the two major reasons why I feel very passionate about what I do.
Thank you so much, Matthew. I would love to talk to you more, but we're running out of time. But before we go, Matthew, what is your main takeaway message to all of our listeners out there?
I think one thing that I'd like to get everyone to know is that there's sometimes a perception out there that charities and charities that are raising money for medical research or trying to find cures for many diseases, get substantial government funding, and that's just not the case, and certainly not the case with MS and MS Research Australia. We receive over 90% of our funding philanthropically. We have a very low amount of funding that comes through the government. So without philanthropy, without donations, without the support of the general public and health professionals and doctors and nurses and those interested in MS, we couldn't fund the amount of research that we do. We're the largest funder of multiple sclerosis research in Australia, and in many cases over the last couple of years have funded more in dollar terms than the NH&MRC. And that doesn't happen without the support of the community, without the support of the health network. And I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions out there, is that a feeling that somehow charities are well funded through government means, which is, in my experience, rarely the case.
That was a wonderful message. And lastly, for those who want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
I think there's two major ways. So obviously through our website, www.msra.org.au, and our fundraising platform that we talked about is through Kiss Goodbye to MS, which is www.kissgoodbyetoms.org. So that's Kiss Goodbye to MS in Australia. And there's information on how to contact us in both those websites, phone, email, Facebook, Twitter, all the socials. There's plenty of ways to contact us.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Matthew, for coming on the show. It was wonderful having you.
Thank you very much.
And that was MS Research Australia CEO, Dr. Matthew Miles. If you like this interview, transcripts and archives are available at www.hpr.fm. We're on all social media platforms, so don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. Show us some love by subscribing to our HPR YouTube channel. We're also available for download on SoundCloud and iTunes. I'm Tabetha Moreto, and you're listening to Health Professional Radio.